One thing that makes K-dramas all the more interesting is their plot twists. Crime dramas in particular need those twists to keep viewers glued to the screen. However, if a plot twist is not done right, it can just ruin the show altogether. And today, we are discussing these twisty plot points that, no matter how you view it, just do not work. Number 1. Dol Dol Sol Sol La La Sol, the last episode. Well, Dol Dol Sol Sol La La Sol was a good romance comedy series while it lasted. There's an optimistic and passionate female lead, despite facing multiple adversities, a cool yet gentle love interest that supports her in proper means, and some really, really good music. And if you want to laugh, the series also has its fair share of well-done humor, as ex-rich heiress Gorara maneuvered a completely new life and dragged the unwilling June along. It is healing, musical, enjoyable, and guaranteed to be a brilliant midweek entertainment. Or at least, things were bright and shiny until our male lead was revealed to have an incurable disease, and passed away with only a couple of episodes left to air. Upon hearing such news, Rara was unable to stop herself from crying. And from then on, she struggled in grief. You may think a tragic ending doesn't sound all that bad, and you'd be right, because it's better than the plot twist that's about to happen. Winding up to 5 years later, and we arrive at when the very last episode took place. There, we got to see Rara playing the piano while reminiscing about June, saying that she had lived her life to the fullest, that she still misses him, and that playing the piano is her own way of greeting her love. Emotional and meaningful. But then, a very much alive and healthy June appeared.
Wow!
Rara saw him, believed it was her imagination, but then they hugged, and she realized he was there for real. Apparently, June faked his death and just up and left, to surprise his love by being healthy again. Yes, this is a happy ending, and we get the appeal of happy things, but you have to admit that this move is extremely shitty. Seriously, in what world is faking your death and making your lover suffer in agony and mourning a good idea? No matter how you see it, putting a person through emotional grief over your death, and then suddenly going, "Surprise, I'm alive," is just not the way to go. Number 2. School 2015. Whatever happened to the love line? As one installment in the School series, School 2015 was a pretty decent youth drama, with interesting characters, a well-developed story, and a good take on heavier themes such as school bullying. The premise of the drama was also pretty neat. 2 identical twins were separated, and while Eunbi was stuck in the orphanage and heavily bullied at a public school, Eunbyul was adopted and went to a prestigious private school. One case of mistaken identity and amnesia later, and Eunbi now assumes the identity of her own sister. There's also a catch. The sisters' personalities are the exact opposite, with Eunbi more cheerful and meek, while Eunbyul is more confident and prickly. And as with most K-dramas, we are introduced to 2 love interests. There's Yian, Eunbyul's athletic childhood friend, and Taekwang, the troublemaker that hid his sufferings behind a smile. As the series progresses, 2 things stand clear. Yian had been in love with Eunbyul for 10 years, while Taekwang's heart has always been with Eunbi, standing by her through hellish bullying. To many of us, that sounds like a sign of 2 couples in the making. But then, a plot twist proved things wrong. Eunbi's true identity is eventually revealed, and to the surprise of many of us, Yian just suddenly fell in love with the nicer twin version of the girl he had loved for half of his life. Worse, there was little development on this behalf. Like, the guy just took a gigantic drift in his romantic feelings because the plot said so. It didn't help that Eunbi's relationship with the second lead is so well written too, making the final couple forced in comparison. So, while Nam Joo-hyuk had done a brilliant job at portraying Yian, this kind of endgame just doesn't really work out. Bitter feelings aside, you can still give this drama a try. But remember to brace yourself for a very heavy case of the second lead syndrome. Number 3. Bring it on, Ghost. Late-stage amnesia. With Ok Tae-seon and Kim So-hyun as the main cast, Bring It On, Ghost already sounds super promising. And that it is. The series is the right combination of comedy, thriller, and crime, as Bongpal, our ghost-seeing male lead, encountered the kick-ass Hyun-ji, the ghostly female lead. Contrary to most ghosts, Hyun-ji can't seem to remember her past life. Thus, she lingered inside a school, trying to discover her true identity, and ended up calling Bongpal and fighting him in the process. One thing after another, they accidentally kissed, and Hyun-chi suddenly recovered a piece of old memories. She started to follow Bong-pal around, annoying him until the two reached a truce and started to collaborate on ghost fighting missions. It was pretty entertaining to see the two bicker all the time while growing closer, and the development of their relationship is sweet to watch. The two, of course, started to fall for each other, until, well, apparently Hyun-chi was just in a coma, and she had revived. And then, things started to go downhill. Admittedly, it was pretty reasonable for Hyun-chi to still be alive. It is better if our female lead is no longer a ghost, and this turn of events can finally give us romance. But it didn't, because Hyun-chi had lost all of her memories as a ghost, which means Bong-pal is now a complete stranger to her. And their relationship had hit a reset button. Now, the overused amnesia trope can still be done right, but frankly, this twist is just totally unnecessary. It threw all the buildup of the series into the trash, and turned Hyun-chi into a meek little girl. It further dragged the story when we already had all the pieces. And honestly, Bring It On Ghost could have been done better. Number 4. Penthouse. Overused Resurrection. There's not much to explain about the plot of Penthouse. There's a murder mystery, a lot of cutthroat dramas, and many, many evil plots. And of course, these evil schemings result in people dying, injured, or going insane. And that's the charm of this genre of drama. Now, there's always this certain impact that follows a major character's death. It can drive major drifts in the storyline, as well as make the audience mourn and await a worthy revenge. There is also nothing wrong with the resurrection trope, because people in K-dramas fake death all the time. And if done right, it would make for an interesting plot twist. However, Penthouse went downhill, for the series had abused the trope so much that it ended up ruining the show. First, we had the major character Shin Roo-yeon, who appeared dead in the finale of the first season. She came back in an extremely hot look, and things were so far still reasonable. Then we had the more minor character Rona, who died in the middle of season 2. She was pushed off the stairs, stabbed in the head, and had her breathing support pulled off in the middle of the night. Her demise served as a motivation for the main character Yoon-hee. So when she came back, it was a bit iffy, but still acceptable. The revival that finally pulled the straw, though, was that of Logan Lee. He's on the good side, and was on his way to a happy ending, before being blown up in a car explosion at the end of season 2. And he also managed to live to assist Roo-yeon in her feat of vengeance. And he still died in the end, which raised the question of, why kill him in the first place? The worst thing about these revival plot twists, though, was not that they were illogical. In fact, Penthouse's screenwriter herself admitted that the series defied logic, and that's its own charm. However, these fake deaths ruined the audience's feelings for every character that died afterwards. Take Oh Yoon-hee, for example. She was betrayed, pushed to death, and yet the audience can hardly cry for her because they half anticipated that she would come back alive. In the same way, these bad plot twists had rendered the drama's ending completely unimpactful. Even with most of the cast deceased in the end, there were little tears to be shed. Of course, that's not all the bad plot twists in K-drama land. You may also think of Black's nonsensical ending, the sudden reappearance of the mother in It's Okay to Not Be Okay, what happened at the end of Lovers in Paris, and many, many more. So, what did you think about the mentioned plot twists? Are they yay or nay? Did any other twist ruin the show for you? Feel free to let us know in the comment section. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!